now with Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. People need that to evacuate.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's one of the reasons why they evacuate ahead of time and enough time so they can get everybody out, right? We need everybody along in level A, right along the coast there. Let's look at some of this radar right here. This is a big thunderstorm moving through Pasco County now. Let's start there. You can see Citrus, Hernando seeing it as well. They will not last long, but it will get dark real quick. It will get some lightning, and it will get breezy with those heavy downpours. Look at this line coming through Hardy County, eastern Manatee County, now through downtown Sarasota. Here it comes. This thing's moving 35, almost 40 miles per hour. That'll put it at Anna Maria by 3:43 and St. Pete by 4 o'clock. We're looking at 3:19 right now. So that's part of the rain, and that's just the leading edge of this. Look how big this thing is. 450 to 550 miles, depending on how you measure it. In fact, you can measure some. It's almost 650 from north to south. This center is obviously going to start throwing more and more moisture. So that's down here, but you see all of this moisture here get a little less and even a little less there. So as this comes northward tonight and tomorrow, we'll start to get more and more bands of rain. And each one of those gets a little bit breezier, especially as the rain comes through. There's that picture. Look at the clouds, the high clouds from South Carolina all the way down towards Belize now associated with this storm. Some dry air getting in the mix here just a little bit. That might slow it from getting strong, but they're still thinking that by the time we even get into this evening, we've got Cat 2 winds at about 120 miles per hour or so. 80 mile per hour winds right now, pressure's at 980. It's now entering the Gulf of Mexico. Basically, technically, it's in there. It will continue to the north. There's your 100 mile per hour winds by 6 p.m. tonight, 120 by tomorrow morning. And then you can see as it moves by us, 125 mile per hour winds for landfall up towards the Big Bend. So here we go. Forecast models, and this is good for us. Not good for these people here, but it does look like it's focused in this area. The further east it goes, the more wind, the more rain, the more surge we will get. The further west it goes, the less we will get of all of that. Now, here's from the Hurricane Center. That yellow right there is about 40 mile per hour winds, okay? You see the centers out here? See that little light color right there? That's hurricane force winds right there, 75 miles per hour higher. This orange is 60. That's about 40. That's tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So gradually through the morning hours, the winds will start to increase. But look at this. It's a south to southeast wind initially, and that goes through about 2 o'clock. Right? But right after that, that wind is not only picking up by 2 o'clock, it'll just get gradually more as we go through the day, but then it starts to turn on shore. This is 5 o'clock. That is pushing water on the coast. 5 p.m. Thursday, 8 p.m. Thursday, continuing. In fact, see heavy winds up towards Citrus County. That's why we think they'll get more surge there. Landfall right around 8, 9 o'clock. After that is 11 p.m. The highest winds are now up here. We still have onshore winds. This surge will last longer than what you remember Idalia. This will be a lot longer than that because the winds will still be blowing. Now, they will be coming down past midnight tomorrow night, but they will still be pushing water up there. Here we go. Thursday morning. This is the arrival of tropical storm force winds, okay? 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 30s, 40s, gusts really in the 40s. Here's what it looks like on the forecast model. 29 mile per hour winds up basically 30 by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That means gusts in the 40s to near 50. Then by 6 p.m. we have winds in the 40s, gusts to the 60s. And then by 8, 9 o'clock we're going to get some of our heaviest winds, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Gusts in the 70s with winds in the 50s. Now the highest numbers will be right along the coast. The further inland you go, look at Sebring at 33, 35 Orlando, 50 in Tampa. Right? So you get the idea. The coastal sections get the most wind. And then gradually, that's 10 p.m., that's 7 a.m. on Friday morning. Obviously, winds are coming down. Water will slow to come down, too. So we'll be watching a breezy afternoon out there for today, 10 to 20, gusts in the 20s. But the rain will start to move in, especially as we get into tomorrow afternoon. This is 7 in the morning. Watch the afternoon as the rain gets closer. For that, let's talk about our local forecast. Now, let's head over to Helene for our local forecast.
Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, so walking through Futurecast here, as we mentioned, some areas already getting hit with those outer bands, bringing some drenching downpours, but really the weather is going to deteriorate as we move into tomorrow. So we still have a couple hours here. Some of you may be sitting through drier, cloudier weather right now, while others are dealing with those downpours. But here we go. We're walking through this quickly into tomorrow morning because those downpours will come, a few of them later on tonight, but things don't really get going until tomorrow. We were just focusing on those winds. winds. By early tomorrow morning, this is at 2 a.m., we still have winds coming in from the east-southeast, so that's pushing offshore. As we move into tomorrow morning, winds are starting to pick up the speed, and we will look at that in just a second. But again, the bands of rain, the heavier rain, not expected until we move into the afternoon tomorrow and the storm gets closer to our coast. Now, storm surge is a concern, but also don't forget, we will get walloped with some pretty heavy downpours out there. And on that right side of the quadrant of the storm, if you split the storm into 4 quadrants, that right side, we say that's the dirty side often. That's where we get the worst weather. That's where we can get those spin-up tornadoes. So here we are, 4 p.m. tomorrow. Look at all this red, orange, indicating that we will have those strong downpours. The winds, look at the speed of this, really starting to pick up. And here's the storm. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, brushing against our coast. So the next couple of hours here, again, winds are fairly calm. We will have some breezier conditions, but then as we move into tonight, winds are starting to get into those double digits, and moving into tomorrow, that's when we have the winds in the 20s and the 30s to start, and really amping up from there. Rain chances also increasing throughout the afternoon tomorrow. Local impacts here, I did want to highlight this. Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco recently had that storm surge updated to 12 to 18 feet. So that's very important. Still expecting about 5 to 8 here for Tampa Bay for that storm surge. So again, surge is different from that heavy rainfall. Please be prepared. And if you are in that evacuation zone, know where you have to go. I'm going to pass it over to Courtney.